I've had two callings. One was to motherhood and one is to be a filmmaker. I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, the oldest of 7 kids. It was me and then 5 boys, and then my little sister finally came along to rescue me. But consequently, I was a huge tomboy. I played soccer from the time I was 7 and loved it. I was really, really lucky to have this wonderful, amazing, loving home life. Growing up, my parents, who are my heroes because they're just two of the best people you'd ever meet. My mom was an artist and an art teacher, so that was really encouraged in my house. And I just remember from a really young age getting a lot of positive feedback for anything that I wrote for school. Writing was really my first passion, but then I got into acting because I got cast in a play when I was about 7 years old. When I was a junior in high school, I was attending Marian High, which was a all-girls Catholic high school, and I auditioned for and got the lead female role, actually the only female role, in Oedipus Rex over at the all-boys high school. And there I met this boy who changed the trajectory of my life. He ended up becoming my husband. He was a senior and he was on his way to go to California for school, and it was love at first sight, and we fell really, really hard for each other. And then we both went to Loyola Marymount University out in California, where I wrote my first play, because I continue to write, and produced it on campus, and continued to act and write and direct throughout my years there, and then ended up auditioning for the American Conservatory Theater up in San Francisco. It's a classical acting master's program. Got into the ACT program and really shifted focus, even though I was training as an actress. It was a great way to write and direct and produce things for my master's degree, and also got married in 1991. After graduating from ACT, I ended up moving to New York because I got married right out of grad school to my boyfriend, now husband, Dan, and he had just graduated from NYU, and so we lived in New York. I was going to do that for the summer and then return to be with the acting company at ACT at the end of the summer, even though I was married, and we were going to just basically live on 2 different coasts for that year. But when I got to New York, I had heard about this agency that I was really interested in because they were real actors, agents, and I auditioned for them, and I got into the agency, and they sent me on an audition for this national tour of The Lion Winter. And when I got back, I was writing and directing and producing off Broadway stuff, until we ended up moving back to Los Angeles for my husband's career, because his acting career was taking off in film and television. So we ended up back in LA after all those years. And then one day I woke up and I realized I was 29 and I wanted kids and I needed to get going. We had our first child, Vivian, in 1995, and then we had Jackson in 1997. 18 months later, we had Max in 99, and then Stella came along in 2002. I know that there are so many women that juggle motherhood and careers so beautifully, but I was not up to the task. I am a person that is really all in or all out, especially when it comes to, well, motherhood and creative endeavors like writing and acting and producing and those kinds of things, that I just couldn't do that and mother 4 children at the same time. So I just stepped out. I really was committed to giving my kids that kind of upbringing that I had, that was a big ingredient that led to me being the person I am today, and I wanted that for my kids. So once my two oldest were in college and my two younger ones were in high school, I felt like I had enough room to work on something creative, and I had this script I'd had in my head for a while that I wanted to put down on paper, and I wrote it. And long story short, I really didn't want to do traditional financing. So I found a producing partner, Dana Altman, and together we raised $5 million in order to be able to produce it. He brought on his collaborators, producers, production designer. They came on board, and we're currently in pre-production and about to cast the film.
So, looking back on my life, it's really interesting. I wish I could say I had this great master plan. Like, I'm going to go to school for acting and I'm writing and I'm going to get a master's degree and I'm going to do some things and then I'm going to just take off for, 20 years and raise my kids and then jump back into it and this is the plan. No, that is not how it happened. It just kind of worked out that way. And I mean, I don't know how it's going to go with this film. I don't know how the film is going to be received. But to have the opportunity to get to do and participate and be able to have two great loves. I mean, my kids and my family are my first love and always will be. And then to be able to have a career on top of it all these years later is just, I can't tell you how grateful I am and how wonderful this is. And I'm just blessed.